Hey everyone, today we're going to tackle a question that seems pretty simple on the surface, one you've probably even thought about yourself. But as we're about to find out, the search for the answer, well, that's one of the biggest stories happening right now.
So, here it is, the big question. Is the Earth actually getting warmer? I mean, it's simple enough to ask, right? But to find the real answer, you can't just, check the weather outside your own window. We've got to look at the whole planet all at once. And I mean, think about that for a second. How could just one person or even one team know what's happening with the temperature everywhere on Earth at the same time? The short answer is they can't. To answer a question this big, you need a massive global team effort. All right, so let's get into it. A simple but big question. How in the world do scientists even start to gather all the data they need to answer something so huge? Well, it takes a massive team, literally a global team of scientists. For instance, there's this big report from the American Meteorological Society, the AMS for short. And get this, it pulled together data from over 450 scientists in 62 different countries. That's what it takes. So, you've got this huge global team. How do they actually find the answers? Well, it's not about opinions or what someone thinks is happening. Nope, they rely on something way more solid. They look for hard evidence. And that word right there, evidence, is everything. Evidence isn't a hunch or a guess. It's the real deal. It's all the facts, all the signs, all the data points that prove something is true. It is literally the bedrock of how science works. So what kind of evidence are we talking about here? Well, they look at a whole bunch of stuff. They're measuring temperatures, not just in the air, but in the oceans and on land too. They're keeping an eye on cloud cover, how high the sea levels are, even how much snow is on the ground. Think of each one of these things as a tiny piece of a giant jigsaw puzzle. You can't see the full picture until you start putting all those pieces together. Okay, so the scientists have gathered all these puzzle pieces from every corner of the globe. Now, for the exciting part, what does the evidence actually show? What picture starts to emerge? But wait a minute. You might be thinking, hasn't the Earth always gone through warmer and cooler phases? And you know what? That's a great question. And the answer is yes, it absolutely has. The planet has natural cycles. The real key here is to see how what's happening today stacks up against those natural cycles from the past. And when you do that, the evidence points to a really clear shift. For ages, the Earth's temperature kind of ebbed and flowed, It went up, it went down, a natural rhythm. But then, something changed around the 1970s. Look at the difference. The pattern just broke. It's not a cycle anymore. It's just been going up, up, and up. Let's try to put that into perspective with a number. The data shows that right now, our planet is warming 10 times faster than it did in past natural warming cycles, like, say, coming out of an ice age. 10 times faster. It's not just the warming, it's the speed of the warming that has scientists so concerned. And if you think that's fast, have a look at the projections. Scientists are predicting that if nothing changes, that rate could jump to 20 times faster than the natural cycles. So again, the big story here isn't just that it's getting warmer. It's that the whole process is speeding up, and fast. So you take all this evidence, the temperature readings, this broken pattern, the incredible speed of the change. What's the bottom line? What's the conclusion from pretty much the entire scientific community? Well, the conclusion is what we call a scientific consensus. That just means almost everyone who's an expert in the field agrees. And I mean almost everyone. A staggering 97% of climate scientists are on the same page. The evidence is clear, the Earth is warming. For the folks who study this every day, there really isn't a debate anymore. Okay, so if it's warming, the next logical question is, why? What's causing it to happen so fast? Well, the evidence points pretty directly to human activities. All the pollution that comes from our cars, our factories, and from making electricity, it releases these gases that go up into the atmosphere and basically act like a giant invisible blanket, trapping heat and warming the planet. All right, let's just recap what we now know. We started with a simple question, right? Then we looked at how scientists find answers, and finally, we saw what that evidence actually tells us. So, to go all the way back to that first question, is the Earth getting warmer? Based on mountains of evidence from all over the globe, the answer is a very clear and simple yes. And it's happening faster than anything we've ever seen before. We asked a question and we followed the science to find the answer. That's a pretty powerful thing. But usually, when you find one answer, it just leads to a new, even bigger question. And that's exactly what happens here. So the next question isn't just for scientists, it's for every single one of us. Now that we have the answer, what are we going to do about it?